Alright, click the links to join the channel here or over at subscribe. So I got a mailbox. You can mail me some comics or a festive Christmas beanie. So you don't own digital media, and yes, the corporations are brainwashing you. And further making the case for physical media, Sony announces PlayStation users will soon lose access to legally purchased Discovery Channel content. Well, did they legally purchase it or not? Well, let's kind of think of it as a long-term rental that's rights subject to change at our whenever we want. But like, did you make that stuff clear when they engaged in the contract? Well, not really. It seems like fraud. Don't we have a federal government with some kind of oversight committees to look over this kind of stuff, this kind of predatory business practices? Well, yeah, it turns out that we own your politicians. This isn't going to end well. It's all just one facet of this big, corrupt, dark crystal. Anyway, so people are surprised to learn that they don't actually own the shows and movies that they paid for. They definitely paid for it, and they thought they were owning them, but it turns out, no, you're just kind of making a donation to the company. Are these Moloch-worshipping, blood-drinking parasites? Yes, they are. Lizard people. Which has the people curious because they're wondering why they bought something, or they thought they bought something. I mean, they definitely paid for something, and they put it in their library. If they were really only renting something subject to the corporation's right to revoke your rights to access it, shouldn't it be referred to as a rental, even a long-term rental, and not a purchase? Even in the legal notice they sent out, they say that they will be deleting the shows that you purchased, and this is their language, from your library. It's not really a purchase if they have the right to delete it. Now, why on earth would you be paying these parasites anything at all is crazy to me. And when you make videos, you're never supposed to insult the audience. That's why I'm not very good at making videos, because these are all demons. And if you're supporting them, you're supporting these demons. I mean, it blows my mind. But some people are really addicted to the soy slop bread and circuses. Do you even want to make videos? I'm more of a BitChute Odyssey type of person. So if you told me I had to watch an hour of these shows per day, I would lose my effing mind. I wouldn't be able to do it without drugs and alcohol to get through just an hour. It would take some pharmaceutical enhancement. It's globalist milquetoast brainwashing designed to turn you into fat, placated, bovine blob humans. But it's great that Sony is screwing the customers, especially in something that is just so obvious as this, as an email sent out that, dear customer, we took your money and we're also taking the show. F you. It's great. I mean, your only response is to cancel your Sony subscription, which obviously, and talk about it on social media, because if enough people raise enough waves on Twitter, then you might get some kind of you might get recompensated somehow. This is so obvious. It's like you paid for something and they thought they owned it, but Sony explains, yeah, you're only really renting those purchases, and sorry, no refunds. Which begs the question: if the customer thought it was only a rental and not a purchase, would they have agreed to engage in that contract in the first place? Probably not. It's good that people see how much these companies hate them, and they absolutely do. And if you continue to pay these blood-drinking demon lizard people parasites, then you deserve the abuse. And people talk about physical media. Fair enough. You can buy DVDs and Blu-rays. And, you can also rip them to your hard drive, which makes things much more convenient. If you get a couple of external 5 terabyte hard drives and you just plug this stuff into your video card. I mean, you can actually do it if you back in the days of VCRs, because they had protection that wouldn't allow you to tape in the tapes themselves from tape to tape, but you just put a video card in your computer in the motherboard, and you could just rip that VCR to your computer yourself, and you can do that with anything. I mean, if the signal's out there, you can always take the signal, and you have the right to have that copy. Check local laws and whatnot. Anyway, it's good that people see how much these companies hate them, because these companies, I don't know if it's hate. It might be disdain. Because they see it, like they see how much they can abuse the customers, and the customers keep paying them. It's like eventually they feel like they're omnipotent. Is that the right word? They feel like they can do anything because the customer just keeps paying them. Though I will say Disney has taken a little bit of a loss lately. So I don't know how well Sony's doing, but Disney has definitely taken a hit. And Amazon's going to take a hit too with that rings of power, but Amazon, shipping is their primary thing. It's not their entertainment division. Anyway, so yeah, you can rip this media and keep it on your external hard drive, which, $100. You can get a 5 terabyte hard drive, and you could probably store every movie you'd ever want to watch. And anyway, but even the whole idea of paying a monthly fee from a streaming platform. I mean, there's like Plex servers and whatnot. I think that's for streaming from your home computer, and you can share things. You can see how this is kind of a problem right from the start. Say you join a service for $7 when it starts, and they go, okay, it's $7 for the first 6 months, and then after that it goes to $10, and you're, oh, yeah, fair enough. And you buy the shows, but then they raise the price like every 6 months. Well, can you just take your shows offline and cancel the subscription? I mean, because you paid for the subscription, you bought the shows. They go, no, you got to continue to subscribe forever, or until they go out of business, in which case, they'll take the shows with them. So it's a predatory business practice, and your representatives in Congress don't care, which, it's like, isn't that the point of a federal government, to protect the people? It's like, it doesn't seem like they're doing a whole lot of that lately. But they don't care because they don't represent you. And this isn't just a nonsense issue. It's $1 trillion industry. And it looks like this is an issue that Congress would address if they weren't so busy giving your taxpayer money to Ukraine and other foreign countries that I guess I better not mention that other country, and lining their own pockets, which they absolutely are. Congressman, how'd you get worth $200 million, Nancy Pelosi? How does that happen? Listen, Hugo Boss. Yeah, that's the people who want honest representatives. Actually, there is one congressman who's looking into it, so credit to him for that. Because it is a big deal. Like, people think it's just entertainment. It's like, no, this is a contract between you and a company, but it's they have how many millions of subscribers, and this is $1 billion company in $1 trillion industry. It's a big deal. It's like, that's what your federal government is there for, to protect the consumer. It's like, well, you have to go talk to Clinton about NAFTA back in the, when did he get elected, 92 or something? Actually, anyway, so the whole concept of streaming kind of seems like a, you'll own nothing and be happy type of thing. I was going to name those guys' names, but I guess I better not for YouTube. Which seems like, that Klaus fellow and his other buddies, George, and, seems like they'll own it all. Because, like, if you don't own it, then they own it. So they're kind of like the puppet, the people pulling the strings sort of thing. Wouldn't it be better if our representatives took the opposite approach and said, why don't we protect the individual instead of the billion-dollar globalist parasitical companies? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about, like, these power in the hands of these few people. You go, we'll own it all and you'll own nothing. You go, well, what if we just took it from you? I mean, it's like, don't the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few? No, you guys couldn't possibly do that. I mean, we could. We could do almost anything we wanted to if we really wanted to. Anyway, no, your representatives do not protect individual interests. They don't protect individual liberty either. It should be that if you buy a show, you can download it, and then you own it, even if you unsub. Or, I mean, this just feels like a predatory interest rates for credit cards, or was it usury, or like rent to own furniture, which Congress did get involved in this kind of stuff. It just seems like our federal government is not getting in, and even at the state level, they're just allowing these predatory businesses. It seems like it's not really a country anymore. It's just more of a commercial zone controlled by just the worst people on earth. Anyway. So it seems like, yes, you should be able to own these things. And it really seems like our government's taking laissez-faire a little bit too far, where like the NGOs control the government because the government's operating on the behalf of these billion-dollar industries instead of on the behalf of we the people, which then what do you have a federal government for, or even a state government if they don't represent the people? So anyway, I mean, these companies are extracting resources from the people, and if we flex our muscles, we could totally control these companies. The left says they like socialism. Well, why don't we try some to benefit the nation instead of being ruled by corporations? They exist because of us. Why not just control them to our benefit? Well, because America can't actually do anything anymore but be a slave to NGOs, bankers, and big tech. And I only say such a hyperbolic statement because look around you. That's exactly what you see happening. And there's a lot of editing on the fly with this. And it's, not politically correct really to go down this aisle. But this is way bigger than just what it seems like, someone getting screwed out of shows. I mean, this is a billion-dollar industry, and it shows like, well, can they operate, what is it, with impunity? Are they untouchable? Because it really seems like NGOs are almost untouchable, where they're treating the nation as this resources to extract money from. And you go like, but if they're only companies are only possible because of the people. Why don't the people take control of these? So you want socialism now? You want it? And they go, it's like an all or nothing logical fallacy. If you want roads, you want socialism. Well, I'm glad we can agree on that. Want some of it. It's weird that the left is in the position of defending billion-dollar companies because the companies and the government are now suddenly on the same page. And on an aside, I've been scrolling the SPLC's website, and it's bizarre. They have a section on anti-government protesters and anti-government militia type of things, and constitutional sheriffs. And you read this and you look at SPLC, you're like, what the fuck? Constitutional sheriffs and militias that are focused on the Constitution. That's what the SPLC is against now. What's going on? Well, there's a lot more to it than that, obviously. If you want to own it, you obviously, as they say, you have to physically own it. Otherwise, you don't own it. It's like that with anything and everything, and you have to defend it. It's like, welcome to the real world. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys all on Subscribe Star.